You're hitting the button.
The
Recording.
button has been pushed.
Fantastic. Cool. Okay. All right.
All right, everybody get yelling out all at once so you can make, oh, that was me yelling on the recording. So 3, 2, 1, yell.
Oh.
Is this going to be like a moment with John Blow?
No. I promise. Okay.
That
So.
surprisingly did not clip.
Well, yeah, okay. All right, well, thanks everybody for coming. First of all, this is obviously the Celestia Radio panel.
With only one recognizable figure.
If you did not come for the Celestia Radio panel, you will be staying anyway. If you did come for it, thank you for hearing about the schedule change somehow. We had some things we moved around. They had to use this as a holding cell for cosplayers. They apparently didn't plan for there to be 70. So that was the thing. Raise of hands, how many people were at Brony Fan Fair last year? A decent amount. Okay, good. Who all were here at this panel last year? Raise your hands. Not nearly as many. All right, good. I'm glad to see all of your faces and enjoyment. Who was at the Uncensored panel last year? Very few of you. You should go to that tonight. It's at 10:30, all right, until midnight. I know it's kind of late, but it's a great panel. It's where you'll get to ask me any questions. Any questions? Any questions? It is 18 plus. I don't know if they're carding people.
They should.
They supposedly are doing that, I guess. So, you know.
That's going to be recorded.
Yeah, it is going to be recorded. It'll be unlisted. Don't worry. So if you're more embarrassed about asking your question than about hearing my response, then there might be a problem. But no, it's all good. So come watch me embarrass myself.
Oh my God, that's Vegeta out there.
There's a Vegeta outside. Rainbow that shirt. Are you high?
No, that's Snowflake. No, it's Snowflake.
I saw the hair first, so I was immediately like,
Okay. Yeah. All right. So that's good. I'm glad we've got all these lovely new faces in here. So who previous to this convention, either last year or this year, has heard of Celestia Radio before? Damn. All right, that's a little more than I actually anticipated. All right. So I won't talk for an hour about what we are, since you guys pretty much figured that out. We're a radio station. Hey, how about that? Mind-blowing experience, right? I don't even know what is this radio. I thought that was a pony thing. 1980, yes. So as a very brief history before we get into who we are. We started about 2 years ago during April of the season 1 of Ponies. So we are very old. We are the oldest, in fact, radio station in fandom. First and oldest. So then we had that going on. I started DJing for Celestia Radio in about June of that year. And I've been there ever since, and now I own the place. So that's kind of the TLDR or CR history. 2 years later, and here we are. So I'll go ahead and quickly introduce everybody up here. We got Derp Time over here. Say hi, Derp Time.
Hello.
What do you do?
I am a graphic artist for Celestia Radio. I joined back in January. I'm also a show host on CTV.
That's Candlelight TV.
Yes, Candlelight TV.
Is our television station.
We're still working on it.
We're still working on it?
We're always working on it.
Always.
we never stop.
Yeah, I recently became a DJ on Celestia Radio. Yeah. And I've been sober for forever.
Yeah.
Double yay.
Oh, yeah.
One clap. But yeah, that's pretty much me.
Okay.
I don't think they want to hear me shamelessly plug my show.
It's on Thursday.
I'll shamelessly plug your show.
It's on Thursday at midnight.
All right. So who are you?
Yeah, who are you?
I wear that sometimes.
You are.
I go by Naudis. I joined Celestia Radio last year after
At Brony Fan Fair.
Yeah. I was just filming stuff, and then they were filming stuff, and we were like, we should put stuff together, and I'm like, you should give me a free badge. So that happened.
And that's how Equestria was made.
It was without Celestia knowing, Luna was just handing out free badges to ponies to get into Ponyville. So
Yeah.
that's how that went down. But I just kind of do whatever he tells me to do at conventions, and stuff happens from there.
Pretty much. So you're a gopher, basically. You're a CR gopher. And who are you?
I'm Swivel.
Turn the mic on.
Why'd you turn it off?
Because he's an idiot.
Okay, I'm Swivel. I'm an artist, and I think at some point I will do art for Celestia Radio.
Yes.
But I don't recall ever having done so.
No.
But
also can't you like to?
Oh yeah, I did stuff for Panel at TV at Las Vegas. So I guess I actually have done some. But I joined at, was it Brony Fan Fair? I mean, I know we were like friends before that, but
I think BronyCon, kind of.
yeah.
Because I met you at BronyCon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we got together then, and I was like, oh, cool, guy who does stuff for Pony Card and graphics and things.
So summer BronyCon last year,
Yeah.
and that was that. So
I'm David. I mean, who are you?
Apparently I'm David.
Yeah. We'll go with that.
Okay, good.
Okay.
I'm the current Android developer. I'm not sure what happened to the last one. I think he was Et.
Huh? Oh, he was Et? You mean 8?
No, Et.
Eden.
Et is fancier.
I'm not fancy. Okay. Let's
Yes.
draw the line there right now.
No one with that beard can claim. No one with that beard can claim to not be fancy. Look at that thing.
That's a fancy beard.
I have birds in it. I'm pretty sure.
You're
I
also
can-
wearing a hat. Hats are fancy.
Look at this.
Tell the story.
Look at this. I'll tell a story about this later.
Don't boo the shillelagh. You don't know what this thing can do.
You don't know where this has been. I mean,
You don't know where it came from either.
I do.
Ask that question.
Okay, so no, one of you please hold on to that. Okay, so that's who these guys are. And if you don't know me at this point, there's probably a problem. But I am DJ Shamrock, as the TLDR of who I am. And I own and operate Celestia Radio. I have since last May, a year ago. What's up, Borg? That's a PVL guy. He's cool. They're our friends. We play nice together.
Everybody say hi, Borg.
Yeah, and so we do things and stuff. Yes. So I, as per always, don't really plan many things because I like to kind of play it off the cuff because that's the kind of guy I am. I'm super Irish, if you didn't discover that already. I like to. Woo! Yeah, that's right. All right. For those of you that also are the same, I guess. I worked in radio for about 3 years. That's not including Celestia Radio. That's how I ended up joining. I was like, hey guys, I see you do 24/7 auto DJ music. That's boring. I said, do you want someone who actually knows what they're doing? And they're like, sure. And so then I kind of just ran with it. I haven't done a show in some time, but I do a show now called Candlelight Crossfade with my good friend and now public relations head of CR, DJ K. Brony. For those of you that may know him or his shows. It is on Sundays from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. We do a professional sort of 2-hour-long radio programmed show. So it would be just like something you would see if you were listening to an actual radio station. We format it as well as we can. We've got sweepers, commercials, music, talk, interviews, call-ins, all the whole 9 yards. So if you're looking for a real pro radio program in the fandom, that's the one to listen to. We've also got other great shows that these guys play. We have our schedule on our website, which is Ponyville.me, by the way. I don't know if that's up there or not. Cool things. So I guess the one thing we do actually have to demo for you today, which is not something that ever happens, is David has some things about our app. If you would like to kind of show that off, you can take your mic down there if it'll extend. and kind of talk about that.
If you'd like to follow him down.
No.
Okay, so this is Pony Card version 2.
Lol. Pony Card 2.0.
We did have an app before this, but it was written a long time ago, fairly quickly, and was starting to look a bit dated. I decided to fix that, so let's see if this works.
Not closer to the mic, the camera.
I'm on the close to the what? Oh,
Yeah, no,
camera.
The,
Hello?
the
What?
camera. Yeah, you're buffering. You're not coming out of the screen.
What's that thing?
What?
It's playing music.
It's playing music.
It
yeah.
works! All right!
It's
Also, one feature that was very heavily requested, the IRC chat is now integrated into.
Oh, yes, you can enter our very own IRC channel now from the app.
Although oh good, I'm not banned anymore. No, here's the thing. So Canternet has a certain limit on how many times you can connect from the same IP in a certain amount of time. Now, I was developing, and I was connecting maybe once every 2 minutes. I'd make a change, connect, make another change, reconnect, and they didn't like that. So for about 10 minutes, I think I had this hotel IP banned by Canternet. But we can now see the chat is blissfully unaware of our existence. Say hi.
Thank you, Vanna White.
I don't think the camera can see it.
You're almost as pretty as her.
DJK can simply assume I'm standing here doing something else and we watch it later, but I'm doing this for you guys.
Yeah.
At present, it only works if you want your name to be David H_CR Droid, but that should be fairly fixable. Also,
Yeah.
fancy new schedule that I just finished like 5 minutes ago.
Am I on it?
I do not know. Is your show today?
No, it's on Thursdays.
Then that's not today.
I'm never on the
But
schedule.
this one now, I'm not really sure how to test this without going to Florida, but I'm pretty sure it automatically adjusts to your time zone now. You don't have to do the conversion from GMT. Very handy.
Yeah. But you're all Central Time, and that's how I try and have things set up for the most part.
No, it's all Eastern.
Well, the hell with that, so. Don't worry, I'll change
You change it, I
it.
think.
Yeah.
But if you all have the dedication to move to Florida just so that you can know for a fact
Just so that you
you're
can
in the right
know
time
that you're in the
zone
right
for the
time
show,
zone.
We can make
love you
Florida
that
the
much
most
more.
pony place ever.
Yeah.
We would sing Florida.
And now for the bonus points, let's see if this crashes or not.
Okay.
That did not crash.
Yay!
Hooray! The app can successfully not only tune into the radio, you can jump in our IRC and chat with our DJs as they are doing their shows. And you can even check the schedule to make sure that you are listening to the right person and you know who is on air, all from the same app.
And of course, we expect the next 5 minutes not really paying attention to us, but you're all kind of down like this looking for it.
You'll find another app that is perfectly fine, but is not as shiny as mine. So download that one, and then if you really, really, really want to be a beta tester, come talk to me, and I will put a fresh developer build onto your phone, and your phone might catch fire.
Right, and in order to do that, you would just send an email into us at info@ponyfy.me, and we can get your info to him. That's a super easy one to remember. How can we get your app, David?
Eventually, it's going to be on the Play Store.
Okay, so Google Play Store will be how you can get that.
We're not quite sure if we want to do this as an update to the existing app or just create a whole new thing, because this is a new thing.
It's widely different.
Yeah, this is pretty much a complete rewrite. So we're gonna have to figure that out later. But yeah, either send the email to info@ponyfy.me or come hit me with a stick until I install it on your phone.
Also, if you don't have an email, we accept carrier pigeon via his beard.
Yes. Just mail it. Just email it to 1234 Beardston Drive, Shamrockville.
That's the same password on my luggage.
It's incredible.
Oh, you don't know what kind of stuff we got stored in here.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
I think there's some food for later and whatever else.
Is that exposed to these poor people's brains?
I
What?
would not.
No.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, so we won't log into chat because sometimes it can be crazy and bad. And we need to slap them sometimes. Yeah.
we're working on the /slap command.
Yeah, so you'll be able to do it too, and it'll be fun and awesome.
And it's a fun interactive thing because as soon as it happens,
Hi, thanks
there's
for
a
coming.
giant hand on your phone that you simply have to go,
Yeah,
and then you can keep going.
and then you can keep going.
We'll figure that out.
So that's the app, the wonderful app that we have.
Any more shameless plugging?
Any more shameless plugging I can think of? Tomorrow there's going to be a panel at 12:30.
Yes.
It's called Edit That Out.
Yeah.
And some cool people that I know are going to be on that, and I'm going to be there too, doing cool things. And then also, I think 30 minutes after that, there's a VA panel, like how to be a voice actor or something. I see people holding up schedules, but I can't really read that. So, oh, and there you go. There it is. All right. Yeah. No, it's cool. You don't have to sing the song. Ding 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 ding. No, I don't care. Then there is a voice, how to be voice actor, or like voice acting in the community, or whatever it's called, panel at like 2:30, 2 o'clock. Tomorrow? No, you don't. This is the only other important one. And ignore those other ones. Those are the main ones. They'll all be in this room, right? So just basically sit in here all day tomorrow and you'll be good. But yeah, I'll be on that because I do voice acting stuff too, as well as radio. So that's pretty cool. Just trying to think. I will take the opportunity to talk a little bit about radio. But the first thing I want to do is to make sure we get questions fielded first, because I do know that it can be sort of crazy, you run out of time, people can't ask any more questions and stuff. So, questions. Yes. What? The stick. The story of the stick? The story of the stick. Okay. Well, for those...
Could possibly involve swearing. You want to say that?
No, it's cool. I won't swear. I swear. I swear I won't swear. Oh, you're disappointed. So basically, this is called a shillelagh, for those that didn't already know that. It is an Irish walking / fighting stick / wand in ancient times, and still sort of a superstitious thing, I guess. Traditionally, they are made out of blackthorn. However, there is no blackthorn in Kansas. So instead, we got it out of oak. And my good friend Z from Pittsburgh, Kansas, who I know is a Brony, he went into the woods because he's a creature of nature, and he wandered around in the wilderness for a while, for days, and eventually found the perfect tree. It was glowing, actually, with a godly view. And it was almost as if it was on fire. Oh no, wait, I think I'm telling a story from the Bible. So he tore a branch off of some random tree in his backyard, and it was an oak tree, and he basically did a finishing on it, sanded it and did all this cool stuff and treated it over a fire. He did do that. He's quite the artisan. And now I have a magic shillelagh stick. And it was here last year at Brony Fan Fair, and it quite nearly has been here this whole time. Wow. I will tell you why. This guy, okay, I leave this stick completely accidentally, at this dude's apartment, all right? I said, you're his apartment, whoever's apartment, one of these guys, I don't even know. It gets left there, and I'm like, hey, Reed, I need that back because it's magic and it is an extension of my being. So he's like, cool, give me your address. So I give him my address. 3 months later, I'm like, hey, Reed, where is my stick? He's like, oh, can I get your address? Okay. So I get him my address again. 3 months later, hey, Reed, where is my shillelagh? When I find it, I'm going to beat the ever-loving hell out of you and enforce all magic powers from my beard down your throat. Where is it? Give me your address again. So then, at Fiesta Equestria, which is also in Texas, I said, hey, if you don't bring this here, I literally am going to find you and kill you and your family. So he's like, okay, I actually saw him at the con. I was like, where's the stick? He's like, I don't have it, it's still at my place. I'm like, you're going to drive and get it now. So he did, and then he brought it back, and now I've had it. So
6-hour round trip.
6-hour round trip, and because he knew he would be dead if it wasn't for going to get this. So that's the story of the shillelagh. So I'm going to go into some more questions. This guy here.
You talked about getting a /slap command for the chat room. Will the /slap command be with the shillelagh?
We can have that as a mod. We'll have like different things. Like it could be a hand or a hoof or a stick or his beard. We'll just have his beard. Except we'll have this interface that like it'll have this effect where you simply feel the need to go afterwards.
Wait. Are you making future statements?
Here, I'll do it. Now you're dead. Okay. All right. So, yes.
What? Somebody like
Then we can handle them.
On the IRC.
Methods.
On the IRC, there's one instance in IRC where we allow it. It's called swagging. If you happen to be at the dance last night, you may be familiar with it. But basically, it's a great song called Pony Swag by Swagberg featuring Maros. And it's where we type the word swag as many times as possible in the chat. Actually, funny story, I discovered the other day how many we actually had done before. In the 3.5 minutes that this song is, our chat room was able to produce 2.5 million utterances of the word swag. If you don't understand how big that is the entire Harry Potter series times 2. Whoa! In 3.5 minutes. We were able to literally net split the entire Freenode server, and it's a large server. So it was with text. With text we were able to do this in 3.5 minutes. Yeah.
Now,
of the word
admittedly,
swag.
it is a much more boring read than the Harry Potter.
However, it's a lot more intense, I will say.
The doctor's had his hand.
Yes, the doctor.
I'm terrible with names, but a person with button on their hat. Has anyone ever told you you look like a less intimidating Daryl Dixon?
Who?
From Walking Dead. Has anyone ever told you you look like a less
Whoa.
intimidating Daryl Dixon?
I don't even
Do I
know.
get offended or I'm like, oh, that's cool?
Get offended. No,
It's
that's
awesome!
cool. No, get super offended. That's a terrible show.
It was fighting words. I don't know. We got some intense battles going on in the CR room today.
But he's the best character on the show!
Okay, so the man that just offended the entire room has a question. What?
So I would love for you to, back to the shillelagh, you missed something really important on that story.
The best important
Most
detail.
important part of that story.
The true origin.
The true origin of the tree. You spoke about this for 4 hours and answered a question about how your shillelagh is a branch of the tree of Yggdrasil.
Oh, that's right. I did talk about that.
What happened?
So that tree that was burning, it wasn't actually the story from the Bible. I forgot. It's actually from Norse legend. This is a part of the tree of life and also Yggdrasil.
The world's tree.
The world tree. And didn't we say that in order to create this branch, we actually had to break it off of an entire universe, and we killed an entire universe's worth of people to make this particular shillelagh stick, and their screams were heard for many universes out, and that's where it gets its power from.
My favorite part is they took the branch off, it was like hashtag yellow.
Yeah. All these people are gonna die. I need this stick. All right. One in the hand up. That's yes, you right here. Yes.
So I have a question. If your shillelagh is so amazingly magical, where are your eloquent prints?
Where? Say that again. Where's my what?
Where are your eloquent prints?
Ah, you see. I am more powerful than I did not possibly need the visage of being an alicorn. I am so powerful, my beard contains all of this power, and this stick, which even though we sacrificed an entire universe of a people to make it, still does not nearly have the magic encased in this beard. It only works as a tool, as a utensil to take the magic and force it out into the world.
In case you're wondering, since alicorns have both wings and horns, he can indeed fly with this.
I can. I'm actually a Pegasus. I am a Pegasus, but the beard helps for magic and Irishness and stuff, so it kind of counts.
It looks very similar to the Ice King.
Okay, I respect. Do you still princesses then?
What? Wait, hold on. What? Who was that?
Oh, I was the
Oh, okay. So I didn't even hear what you said. So one thing that I just did remember, for those that aren't aware, we did a fundraiser a while back in order to raise some money for a very cool individual who's no longer with us anymore, unfortunately. For Kiki. And we raised actually over $10,000 for her by shaving my beard off at Las Pegasus Unicon.
Moment for the beard.
And it was actually very interesting because the shaving of the beard is what caused that convention to implode on us. So I do apologize for those that might have been there. I did not mean for that to happen. We just didn't know. We've never shaved it before, so we didn't know what was going to happen. And it had massively negative effects. So we're never going to shave it ever again. So yes, other questions?
Wait, so what you're saying is that in the sands of Las Vegas, the shavings of the world beard glow?
Yes. Yes, that is what I'm saying. Yes, this man back here.
Which of the 9 worlds were destroyed? Muspelheim, Jotunheim, which of the 9 worlds did you think that?
Actually, here's the thing. No. Here's the thing. There were actually originally 10. It dates so far back that legend doesn't even remember that there was a 10th world, and that is where this one comes from.
10th is best.
Yes.
What was it called?
It wasn't even old enough to be named yet. It was that young. Yeah. Tier. People that we don't care about them anymore, obviously. They've been wiped from memory. Other questions? Yes, you in front.
If you're so powerful, then how come you don't take over Equestria?
Ah, yes. How come I don't take over Equestria? A very good question. A very good question.
Friendship.
For one, that's a pretty relatively good answer. Friendship is pretty important. I will say that I'm being the head of Celestia Radio. I am a humble servant of Princess Celestia. So for that one reason, I particularly don't take over because I like her, and her sister's cool, I guess. Offended. They will not. Haters gonna hate. So much hate.
Order of the court.
No, this isn't a courtroom. Hello, Celestia smite you.
Don't worry, we still play a lot of Lulu music after like 12 o'clock.
That's not good enough.
Well, duh, it's when it's dark. That's when she's out, right? I mean, she sleeps during the day. Lazy. Any other questions? Okay, Tux.
Legit question. Easiest way to get into radio.
Yeah, okay, this is a good question that I can actually help answer. Relevant question? Really? Relevance?
You do what I did, and then you just kind of run into him and say, hey.
I think he means actual, you mean actual radio, right?
Either or.
Either or, well, internet radio is a lot simpler to get into. You just like talk to me and like, hey, I'd like a show, and I'm like, are you a cool person? And you're like, yeah, and then I'm like, Cool. Here's a show. Because we are always looking for content providers. But as far as getting into terrestrial radio or satellite radio, whichever you prefer, having worked in the field for 3 years, I can say that the easiest way to do it is to, 1, have an awesome voice. 2 is to love music. That helps. If you know a lot about music and a lot about different musicians and stuff, that's super bueno. I think I used that word correctly. The third way that helps is to know people. I'll say this for everything in life.
Also, it helps to know people.
Yeah. I'll say this in life for any job that you're trying to get. It helps times 1,000,000 if you know people. A brief fallback story. I have had about 7 jobs in the last 9 years of my life, and every single one of them was always because I knew a person. It was never from an application, it was never from school or anything. I just happened to know someone that worked there, and I got in. So it does help. Networking is a crucial part of getting a job. Don't ever forget about it, okay? All right, I'm looking at you college people, okay? I know you're afraid about it, okay? It's terrifying, but.
I go to a university.
Oh, okay. Okay, elitist.
There's nothing wrong with getting a degree as long as you learn some shit.
As long as you learn some things, right? Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Only a few.
I wasn't even correcting you. I was just like saying. But here's the thing. There's a big difference between education and between learning, right? Yeah. Always learn. Always learn. The more you know. Reading Rainbow, etc. Okay.
On that note.
On that note, other questions?
Somebody please bring us a rainbow.
I'm a Rainbow Dash.
Non-radio relevant question.
Okay.
What is your favorite beer?
What is my favorite beer?
Yes.
Oh, that's a good and also very easy question to answer. I am super Irish, so the obvious answer is Guinness.
Yes.
Now, as good as Guinness is, you have to try it in the Emerald Isle because it's way better than the stuff we got here. All right, it's actually sweet and tastes like candy. It's good. And yes, the front next to her.
Wouldn't your favorite beer be a beard? Like a beardy guard?
No.
What?
Okay, yell at us so we can hear it.
Beard dub with a D. I missed the D on that one, guys, I'm afraid. What is my favorite beer? Are we talking about like a style or a person?
Would it be your
understood. Style, brand, anything.
Style?
A brand of beard?
Sure.
My favorite style. My favorite style of beard clearly is the full-on bushy, right? I also appreciate the long and slender beards. You know, anything that's large. Usually with folks that don't have too much hair. Those are great beards. They're spot on, especially if they wear tweed hats like this. I have a lot of hair, but I like to cover it up. But those are great beards. As far as some famous beards, if you didn't recognize the similarity, I should perhaps be in Vegas and maybe put some sunglasses on and maybe a Chinese hat, right? For those that know Zach Galifianakis, I get called out for being him a lot. Galifianakis? That guy. The guy in The Hangover. I have been an odd amount of times called out for being Zach Galifianakis. So I'm always like, no, but I'll sign your face, I guess. $100. But yeah, so yes, those are cool beards.
How many beards do we have in the room?
Raise your hand if you've got one. That is an okay ratio, but not nearly enough. It's okay. It's all right. If you are trying to grow a beard, some advice for you. Now again, it is almost 100% heredity and genes. which is weird because I'm pretty sure my entire genealogy is beardless. So again, it has something to do with magic powers, I guess.
The shillelagh.
The shillelagh.
Actually, way back, great Uncle Shamrock had a beard.
Yeah, great. So
Shamrock's mailman had a beard.
Shamrock's mailman. Man. Burn. Okay. Yes.
I'm not afraid of the beard's power.
Can you have an invisible beard?
Well, beard
It
is
counts.
beard is a state of mind more than a.
It's true. You can carry yourself as if you have this beard, even if you don't, and you will come close to fooling people.
Just do this every once in a while.
Yeah, if you just away from your face by like an inch. If you're just like if I had a larger beard, it would be like if I was like doing this, you'd be like, what is that guy doing? And it would just be like, I have a beard, and they're like, but you're not actually touching. Don't question it, okay? You're touching it.
Just remember, if you have an invisible beard, if you can't feel it, you're imagining it.
Yes, you have to know that you have a beard. You convince yourself of it, and then you have one. That's how it works. It's magic and sorcery. Yes. So another tidbit on the beards. Again, heredity mostly. My only advice is when I was younger, I was growing this at like 15 years old, so it's like a weird super heredity thing. But even though I don't know who had one in my genes, I happen to probably shave once a week, maybe something like that. So if you want to take any of that random knowledge of statistics and start applying it to yourself, I would say the more you shave, the better off you are. Because it'll grow more. It's kind of 50-50 on that. You'll hear both. It worked for me, obviously, so it just depends. Again, it's magical. So play with your beard. Have magic. Hey now.
Like that.
Have fun and live in the experience. And yes, take photos. Yes, sir.
$500 Rainbow Dash have a beard as well. Did you finally put that on?
No, that was never a thing. Rainbow Dash doesn't wear beards.
She's a girl.
She's cool enough. She doesn't need it.
Where is it
What?
in the first place?
Where is it? Oh, unfortunately, okay, so I got a $500 Rainbow Dash at Fiesta Equestria. Mostly because I was like, I have money. Oh, look, there's a Rainbow Dash. Here. And she was like, cool, here you go. So she's not here because I am really, number one, I'm super possessive. And number two is that her wings are mangled enough since I hug her at night, so I didn't want to mess her fur up or anything while I was here and stuff. So that's why. Plus the car ride's 12 hours in Texas heat. No thanks. Yeah, I wanted to savor the trip. So other question, guy in the back.
Yeah, if you're almost Zach off the Vegas, that make you a one-man Timberwolf pack?
Say the very last part again.
If you're almost Zach off the Vegas, that make you a one-man Timberwolf pack, or what's going on?
Yes. The answer to that question is yes. It does make me a one-man Timberwolf pack.
I've actually been reading some questions on Twitter. One for your beard. How is it being attached to Shamrock? That's very informative. And in case anybody who just walked in here was wondering, that guy walking out, this is the beard panel.
Man with pink shirt.
Where did you get the $500 for the Rainbow Dash? I bought a computer for that.
Okay, so fun story.
You know how you can sell your blood for money? You can kind of sell shaving foam.
They're magical. Not quite unlike a leprechaun, my beard hairs actually turn into gold. So once they're detached from my face, unless you take it from me, then it will light you on fire or something. I haven't tried that.
Sham. So, you said that you're not going to shave the beard anymore.
Right.
But would you, for either money or for charity, dye your beard rainbow in honor of your favorite?
I would absolutely dye my beard rainbow. You wouldn't even have to pay me for that.
Do it now.
But if it was for charity, you wouldn't have to pay them.
Do it now.
I unfortunately don't
If somebody
have the
wants to
materials.
bring the 7-color dye materials, we'll try to do it in 17 minutes. But until then, we're going to go to more questions.
Yeah.
Cloud yellow shirt guy.
What?
In Cloudville, sure. You're bringing pumpkins.
When can we expect you to open up commissions for beers?
That's a really good question. Are we talking about like for beard hairs? Like when am I going to open up the commission line for anything beard related?
Things have been fairly limited.
Yeah.
A lot of artists have been closing up beer commissions. It's kind of a sad time. Right?
It is. It really is sad. Yeah. That's a good question. Basically, when I will shelter it, I will grow it, and whenever there are no commissions to be found on the face of the earth, that is when you know the beard will be open for commissions. That's shelter for all of those poor people. Yes, you right here.
If the beard turns to gold when it's shaved off, why did Las Vegas sale?
Whoa! A good question. A good question.
They didn't say the magic words when shaving the beard. They didn't offer the proper reverence.
They didn't offer the proper sacrifice.
Instead, we all drunkenly sang Bohemian Rhapsody.
And you can actually find that video on our YouTube page where we shave the beard off. It's pretty intense.
Along with a lot of...
I didn't cry. I almost did because I had literally, okay, if you weren't there and didn't see the video, I had 3 grown men shaving my face at the same time. With not with electrics, with like, blade and everything. Huh?
Were they at least safety ratings?
Were they safety? I don't know. They weren't straight edge.
Okay.
Because
oh, good.
Yeah, they cut his beard with the scissors with the little groove, and so you can't cut yourself, but it makes funny shapes.
It was a pretty intense time.
Are there any non-beard questions?
Okay, my non-beard question is, how was it working with Celestia Radio when it first started and, moving into what it is now?
Oh, good question. I could talk about this for days, but I won't, I promise. So basically when I, talked to, at the time, Karai and Hooflander and PH Pony, all of which one still remains. Those were the 3 original guys who started the station. PH Pony did the web dev, Hooflander sort of did the graphic design and owned the place, and then Karai was the PR head at the time. And they kind of got me in a room and they were like, man, we really need this guy. And I was like, I'm not doing anything. I was working in radio 40 hours a week in the evenings. And I said, hey, I would love to do a show Monday through Sunday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So I was doing well into the 40-hour to 50-hour range of hours per week, just DJing on Celestia Radio. I was the only one on at the time. We did a cool morning show thing for just 6 hours where people would flood the room and I would talk about cool things and ponies and and stuff like that, and play cool music that was just starting back in the day. And sort of, seeing that grow from, I think the most listeners they had at one time at that point was like 45, and they had a cap at 100. When I did my first show, we broke the cap and they had to pay for a new one while I was doing it. We literally went to 120, I think, in the first day. So we tripled the highest number we ever had. And then we maxed out past 200 within a week. And to see those numbers be there, I have the percents of like total listeners in the entire 2 or 3 weeks that we started. But it was pretty awesome. And since then, we actually, on January 2012, I want to say, when we did our New Year's special, we broke the world pony record for listeners at a radio station. And it hasn't been broken since. We had close to 800 people at once on the stream. So that was pretty awesome.
And now we have 34.
No, we actually have a lot now. Oh, this is something else I should talk about. If you've never heard about this cool thing called Hoof Sounds, PVL and Celestia Radio are on it. It is he can pull it up. It is a Google Chrome extension that was made specifically for Celestia Radio and for PVL by a guy named Archive Alicorn. He runs Pony Hoof, if you use it on Facebook at all, right? So he made that, and he made this called Hoof Sounds, where you can...
All the cool networks.
Yeah, you don't even have to be at our website, although we encourage you to go. If you're doing something else, you're just like, I'm just going to pull up with this Chrome extension and do my thing. It's very smooth, very awesome, and it pulls directly from our feed, and you can use that whenever you want. So Hoof Sounds is the name of it, and
I've heard the Firefox version is supposed to be out by the end of either this or next month.
okay, so you'll also, for you Firefox fans like me out there, you'll be able to have the extension for that as well. So this is their thing, their website, I guess.
Beautiful.
And where you can get Hoof Sounds. He's kind of showing you how to do that right there. I encourage you to do so. You will not regret it, I promise. For any other questions, yes?
If I could be hard enough, can I grow beard as luxurious as it?
No.
You can certainly try.
You can certainly
We've
try.
gone over the
Power
invisible weird
belief,
thing. It's a state of mind.
and who knows? You could be you could be like the most popular, amazing bearded lady. Like they have at circuses and things, right? That's a thing, right?
It's a lucrative deal.
It is a lucrative deal. You could make a lot of money that way, I have heard, through not so credible sources. This guy.
Can we just have one single day out of the whole year dedicated to just you and your shillelagh?
One single day out of like the calendar year.
Yes.
Just like
one single day.
Okay.
Just like on the air?
I will talk to the president and see if we can arrange that. I'm sure he'll be okay with that.
What day would he'll listen to the beard.
What day would we want? Listen. I got a good day. All right. It would actually be my birthday, which is March 14th, also known as Pi Day.
Mark your calendars, people.
And it's only 3 days away from St. Patrick's Day, right?
That's not a coincidence.
Not a coincidence at all. Yes. In fact, the closer your birthday is to St. Patrick's Day, the more magical you are, right?
It's also just one day before the death of Julius Caesar, which is also not a coincidence.
Also not a coincidence. Yeah. Actually,
Also, even though 3 days away isn't the closest, third time's the charm, Lucky Charms, it doubles the potency.
it does.
of Irishness.
And also, being the day right before, as he mentioned, that Caesar died, I'm actually, though I am not as old as Caesar, the universe had to save so much power up that they had to kill off Caesar then and manifest it over time, and then I was born, right?
Then your beard.
And then the beard was born, and I grew out of the beard, right? And that's how that's how Equestria was made. Okay, question right here.
Do you get picked on for your beard?
Do I get picked on? Okay, did I get? Okay, this is a great question actually. So I have had one or two people sort of in my life, their family, right? Particularly my sister, when I was growing up, she'd be like, "Oh, it looks so unprofessional. You look like a lazy bum and all this stuff." And throughout my entire, all the way through high school, through college, she would berate me about the beard, like you need to shave it and look professional and all this stuff. And I'm like, well, to be honest, if there's a place that would not hire me because of my beard, I don't need to work there, for one. And for two, I have had all the support in my entire life about the beard. I'm just like walking around, total strangers, like, hey, that's an awesome beard. I'm like, I know, right? And it was funny because I remember in high school going to events with my debate forensics team, because I did debate forensics in high school for any debate forensicators out there.
And they combine the classes and they're like,
fun times.
Is this the hair?
And forensic acting, not forensic science. Very different things. I know it's really confusing.
Is this the hair?
And very good interpretation. And I would be walking around. They would be like, "Oh, hey, what? Do you know where this room is, or whatever?" Because they assumed that I was like the debate coach at that school when I was like 14, and I was like, "I'm a participant." They're like, "Oh, you look like you were 40. Other fun story that's sort of age-related with that, I have never been carded in my entire life. take that as you will. Other questions? Yes, this man, Tyler. What's up?
So there is so much about your beard that I don't know that I've learned in this panel alone. There's so much history to you and your Shelley and your beard. Have you ever considered making a show as it or writing or anything about it?
Now accepting submissions of fanfics about Sham and his beard.
Don't forget that.
There are some. I will say that there are some things that exist out there. One is called the Ultimate Shamrock of Ultimate Shamrockery. If no one has ever heard of that, it is a parody. It's a parody off of Ultimate Showdown and Ultimate Destiny. For those that are familiar with that, there's a live reading of it on Celestia Radio's YouTube page that I read like 2 years ago. It's pretty cool. It has all kinds of references, including Adrian Brody, I think, and all the pony characters. And
So, does
it is it safe for work? That's a good question.
Because there are children.
I think it is safe for work. I'm 97% positive.
So, you said it references Adrian Brody. Does that mean that Brody Quest was written about your beard?
Yes.
Why does he go under the ocean then?
And as an addendum for the show idea, I have not considered doing a show with the beard, but usually wherever I go, as you can tell, the beard follows. And it would be an interesting show idea to just have the beard have an hour of time a day to tell its story.
Wait, your beard actually is going solo?
No, not solo, but it's one of those things where like the crew focuses on its past and like the head of the band, like takes a break for a little while and thinks about life and does a lot of drugs and all kinds of crazy things, and then it does rehab and then it comes back 3 times more popular than before. So one of those kinds of things, probably. Other questions?
You and your beard ever had a fight with each other?
No. It was pretty pissed when I shaved it, but other than that. Question?
Yes, and all your power and all that. You also have all world knowledge with your beard?
No. First of all, you are terrifying.
Letting me know that all knowledge is stored within the beard, but it decides to withhold this information.
Yeah, so I am still mortal, unfortunately. And so the beard is the one with the power, right? And so I can draw information from it when it allows me to take this information. Good question. An actual relevant question.
A good
too.
4-minute question.
A good question. So I ended up joining the fandom. I had a furries. I had a furry friend of mine who basically sent me this link. He's like, hey, listen, you need to watch this show. And I was like, no. And then he said, hey, listen. I said, go away. Hey, listen. Okay, fine. So I recorded it and I watched the show and I was like, this is pretty cool. And then like 3 months later, I decided to like cruise YouTube and I saw Pony's Anthology. Yeah. They're pretty cool. And from Pony's Anthology, I found out about this group called, they did a parody video series called Mentally Advanced. For those of you that know Greg and Alan and the people who also do Rainbow Dash Presents, they actually live like less than 5 minutes away from me. I didn't know about this until about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I'm extremely disappointed that I didn't know that. We ate sushi the other day, so it was cool. But they're cool guys, and their videos actually I learned from in the comment sections about Celestia Radio from the comments. So if it wouldn't have been for them, I probably wouldn't have been in the fandom.
So YouTube comments actually did something useful.
YouTube comments got me into the fandom.
You heard it here first, folks.
Really quickly, if we can go across the board. I don't know.
My sister made me watch it with her.
Oh, cool. Okay, go.
He told me to watch it.
Okay. Was it furries?
No. It was another website that sort of begins with an F. Sort of.
4chan.
Anyways, no, I was on that site browsing around and I saw a whole bunch of pictures of it and I was like, oh, I guess we're all hating this. So I'll just go throw in my 2 cents and hate on it for whatever reason. And so then my friend was like, hey, you know what you should watch? And I was like, what? And he was like, that show. And I was like, no. And then he was like, okay, well, we're not doing anything else for the rest of the summer, so we should watch the show. And it was like right when the summer semester had started at the college I was at. And then we decided to, like, he made me watch the first 2 episodes because they worked together. And then when he left, I watched all the rest of them, so.
You're not supposed to talk about 4chan.
He never said the name.
He never said it.
Okay.
1 and 2 only apply to.
So I was at the
grades.
same college he was at,
Grades
and I was pretty much doing the same thing that he was. That same friend told us both to watch it. We both pretty much said hell no, and we watched it. And now he told me to do things a lot.
Yeah.
Actually, it's more like, I'm like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if, like, I could make a thing that does this? You should make a thing that does this.
Okay, so questions, I will ask relevant ones first to raise your hands. There
Relevant
are
questions.
30 seconds.
Okay, so now non-relevant questions may ask. You, right here? Yes.
Okay, this is kind of a two-part. Does your beard feed off of the energy of potatoes?
That is racist. Potato. What's the second part of the question?
Does your beard somehow involved in the potato family?
Now that's racist.
That's one of those
It was not.
stories.
It was not actually related. Potatoes are totally unrelated to the beard. That one is solely will ever forever be on the British. Other questions. Okay. Yes. Over with whoever's. Yeah.
One of them.
At the same time.
Does your beard know what the fox says?
Ding 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 ding.
Other beard guy.
Yes.
Yes, if your beard and Celestia's beard are related.
Whoa. Actually, this is a funny story, right? So one day, I'm broadcasting on the airwaves, and Celestia walks in, and she's like, "Hey, I need to borrow this for a second." And I'm like, "What?" And then by the time I could say no, she'd already duplicated it with magic and walked off. So she does have a sort of counterfeit beard that's based off of mine, and that's how she got that beard.
And if you'll notice really carefully, there's a slight extra green tint because of its Irishness. So Celestia is now actually part Irish.
Yeah, it's good. I am afraid that is sort of all the time we have for questions. It's 8 and I gotta be at the banquet now. So thank you for coming. You can check us out at Ponyville.me. And don't forget, the Best Uncensored panel is tonight at 10:30 until midnight. You will see me there as well. And again, you can ask me anything. Nothing's off the table. I cannot say no. I'm literally required to answer.
Spread the word, Sham Spirit 2013.
Spread the word, and I will see you all there. Thanks again.